Hey everyone, welcome to Fluent Heaven. I'm genuinely excited for this episode because we're diving into something I used to seriously struggle with, mornings. And I've got to say, I was never a morning person, just ask anyone who's seen me before coffee.
Oh, you're not alone there. For the longest time, I was the queen of the snooze button and all things chaotic before 9 a.m. But honestly, mornings set the tone for my entire day. I think a lot of people underestimate just how powerful a solid morning routine can be.
Absolutely. And for anyone listening who's ever felt groggy, rushed, or just out of sorts in the morning, you're in good company. Today, we'll break down the habits that turned everything around for us. And, trust me, it's not about waking up at 5 a.m. to run marathons unless you want to.
I'm glad you mentioned that because people often think you need some superhuman willpower or fancy gadgets. But really, these are practical shifts anyone can try. We'll share specific habits that made a difference for us and give you the lowdown on what actually works, plus a few honest disaster stories along the way.
Thinking back, my old mornings were just frantic. I'd hit snooze 3 times, scramble to find clean clothes, sometimes skip breakfast, and basically run out the door stressed. It's wild how normal that felt for me for years.
You know, my mornings used to be pretty similar. I remember one time I actually wore mismatched shoes to work because I was in such a rush and I didn't notice until lunchtime. That constant feeling of being behind really wears you down.
Oh, I can relate. The worst part was, starting my day in that kind of chaos just made everything harder. I'd snap at people, forget important things, and just feel off for hours. It was like the stress from those first 10 minutes followed me all day.
It's so true, and honestly, it wasn't just about time, it was about how I felt. I started to realize that if my mornings were a mess, my whole day felt scattered. That actually reminds me there was a moment where I knew I needed to change my approach. Do you remember your turning point?
Totally. For me, it was this string of days where I kept forgetting things, meetings, my wallet, even what I'd said to people. Eventually, I just felt exhausted and totally unproductive. That's when I realized my mornings were holding me back.
Funny enough, my turning point was missing an important appointment because I overslept. After that, I started reading up on how morning routines affect productivity and mood. It was eye-opening to see how tiny habits could make a huge impact.
Exactly. Once I saw the connection between my morning chaos and the rest of my day, I felt motivated to try something new. I figured, why not experiment and see what happens? And that curiosity honestly got the ball rolling. The first habit I tackled was waking up earlier. Now, I was super resistant at first. I thought it meant losing sleep. But once I started going to bed a bit earlier and nudging my alarm back by 15 minutes at a time, it got easier.
I had a similar experience. At first, those extra minutes felt brutal, but after a couple of weeks, I actually looked forward to the quiet. Placing my alarm across the room helped too, nothing like a little forced cardio to start the day.
Oh, moving the alarm is such a game changer. And what surprised me most was how having that calm, unhurried start set a completely different tone. Even just having time to sip my coffee in peace made mornings less stressful.
That quiet time honestly became sacred. I'd use it to read or just stretch a little, and it made the rest of my day feel more manageable. It's wild how this small shift became the foundation for all the other habits I wanted to build.
That leads perfectly into the next thing I changed, ditching my phone first thing in the morning. I noticed I'd wake up and instantly dive into emails and news, and it just stressed me out.
I hear you. Scrolling through notifications before I'd even gotten out of bed made my mind race with other people's problems. Now I leave my phone in another room overnight and use an old-school alarm clock, so much less anxiety.
I used to worry I'd miss something important, but the truth is, nothing truly urgent happens in that first hour. Instead, I'll read, journal, or just enjoy some quiet. It's like giving your brain space to wake up gently.
Yeah, I swap that screen time for making breakfast or a quick walk. My mornings feel way more intentional now, and honestly, I don't miss the doom scrolling at all.
Speaking of walks, adding some movement in the morning was another game changer for me. I'm not running marathons, but even 10 minutes of stretching or yoga really wakes me up.
That's been huge for me too. I sometimes just dance in my kitchen or do a few quick bodyweight exercises. The science backs it up, getting your blood flowing boosts endorphins and makes you feel accomplished right away.
And it doesn't have to be fancy or intense. On some days, just stepping outside for fresh air does the trick. The key is finding something you actually enjoy so it feels like a treat, not a chore.
Exactly. Once I let go of the idea that exercise had to be this big production, it became so much easier to stick to. Even little bursts of movement totally set the right tone for my day.
Another ridiculously simple habit that made a real difference was drinking water first thing. I never realized how dehydrated I felt until I started keeping a glass by my bed.
Same here. It sounds so basic, but after 7 or 8 hours without water, your body craves it. Sometimes I'll add a little lemon, which actually helps wake me up even more. It's amazing how alert I feel afterward.
And when I forget, I definitely notice it. I feel sluggish and not quite myself. It's such a quick win for your health, and it takes less than a minute. So after hydrating, having a real breakfast became non-negotiable for me. I used to grab a coffee and call it good, but I always crashed mid-morning.
The difference is night and day. Once I started eating things like oatmeal with fruit or eggs and veggies, I noticed my energy and focus shot up. Giving myself more time in the morning helped me actually feel hungry for breakfast, too.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Even a smoothie with some protein keeps me going. Plus, it's way easier to avoid those mid-morning snack attacks when you start off well-fueled. One habit I picked up that surprised me was spending a few quiet minutes just being mindful, like jotting down 3 things I'm grateful for or doing some breathing exercises.
I love that. I started using a meditation app for 5 minutes each morning, and it's done wonders for my anxiety. Even just sitting quietly with a cup of tea changes my mindset and makes me less reactive throughout the day.
I think the key is you don't need any fancy tools. A notebook, your breath, or just some silence does the trick. Those few mindful minutes help me start intentionally instead of just reacting to whatever happens. Last, but honestly not least, is taking 5 or 10 minutes to plan my day. I used to skip this, but now I jot down my top 3 priorities and visualize what success would look like.
That's made a massive difference for me too. When I have a clear sense of what really matters, I don't get overwhelmed by endless to-do lists. Sometimes I'll even do this the night before if I know I have a busy morning coming up.
Exactly. It's about feeling in control instead of just reacting all day. It doesn't take long, but that sense of direction carries through everything else. At this point, someone might be thinking, that's a lot of habits. But honestly, I started with just 1 or 2. Trying to overhaul everything at once just set me up for disappointment.
You nailed it. Consistency beats perfection every time. If I missed a day, I just picked it up again the next. I learned that it takes weeks, sometimes even months, for a new habit to really stick, and that's totally normal.
And don't be afraid to experiment. What works for someone else might not work for you. Small, sustainable changes make a much bigger difference over time than trying to go all in from day one. Now for the fun part, how things have changed. Since sticking with these habits, my energy during the day is so much better. I'm more productive at work, I'm less moody, and I actually look forward to mornings now.
Same here. I remember last month when everything felt overwhelming at work. My morning routine was the one thing that kept me grounded. It's not just about the morning, it affects my relationships and overall happiness too.
Honestly, those small wins add up. When you start your day feeling accomplished, it's like giving yourself momentum for the rest of your day. The ripple effect is real. I'm more patient, focused, and even healthier overall. Of course, it's not always smooth sailing. Some days it's tough to wake up early, or life just gets in the way, like if you've got kids or unpredictable work hours.
Absolutely, and I think it's important to be flexible. If I'm traveling, I'll pick just one habit like drinking water or doing a quick stretch. And when motivation dips, having someone to check in with or using a habit tracker app really helps keep me accountable.
And honestly, some days will just be a mess, and that's totally fine. The goal isn't perfection, but progress. Adjusting your routine to fit your life, not the other way around, makes it way more sustainable long term. So, quick recap. The habits that changed our mornings: waking up earlier, avoiding phones, moving your body, hydrating, eating well, starting with mindfulness, and setting intentions. If you're new to this, just pick one to try this week.
And remember, transformation doesn't happen overnight. These small changes really do add up. We believe in you. Give yourself some grace and watch how your mornings, and honestly, your whole life start to improve.
Thank you all so much for listening and spending this time with us. We'd love to hear your stories or answer your questions, so don't be shy. Reach out anytime. Here's to better mornings and even better days ahead.